George, we're live.
Good evening. Happy Friday. Hope we're all doing well. We're going to go into talk about the big, massive game on the weekend. Apparently, it's a North London derby. Introduce you to my guests. We have. I won't go to her because she's probably run down the stairs. Laura, how are you?
I'm all good, thank you very much. Mel has arrived back. She is here with. I'm all good, thank you. Yourself?
I haven't left yet.
All right. Okay, Mel, how are you doing? Apart from having to run up and downstairs.
I'm all good. I'm allowed to run now, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm no longer in a knee brace, so buzzing. But yeah, no, I'm good. It's been a pretty good week. Can't complain.
Pretty good week.
Yeah.
That's putting it mildly, Mel. Pretty good week. Come on.
I'm being humble for once.
Stay humble. Yeah, she's had a brilliant week, and we're proud of our Mel. I'm sure we'll get into it later in the show. James, how you doing, mate?
I'm all good, mate. All good. Done the basics for Valentine's Day. Kept the wife down at the bottom corner there. Reasonably happy, so not as exciting as Mel's week, right enough, but looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, I'm buzzing for Sunday. I'm not going to lie. I'm ready for it. Like, it's just annoying it's not tomorrow. Paul, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you, George.
On my TV.
Before we get started, can I put someone in the doghouse straight away today?
Sorry, I just leant on my TV if you had that.
I'd like to put someone in the doghouse. I'd like to put the person that invented half and half football shirts. I don't know if you saw it. Somebody had a Liverpool and Plymouth half and half football shirt on at the weekend. Dear. I know we've had a rant about scarves on here, but scarves is one thing, but shirts, I can just see people turning up on Sunday with half Arsenal, half Spurs shirts.
No.
Absolutely ridiculous.
We kick them to the curb. No chance.
The only way that works is if they turn up with half and half Arsenal Tottenham one and put Sol Campbell on the back. Yeah. That's the only way it works. No, I'm not having that. That could go into the Hall of Fame doghouse, because I think I might introduce that at the end of the season for the top 10 doghouse awards. So seeing as it's Valentine's Day, roses are red, violets are blue. To dare is to do. She's one more than you. We'll talk about Kimmy Little before we go into the North London derby. Laura, she signed an extension, isn't it? Was it July 2026? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I know we've been saying that we think she should hang the boots up, but if we're going to be bringing in new midfielders in the summer, I think the one person that you would want those new players to be under is Kimmy Little. It's been quite clear since Kim has been out that our midfield struggles, and I think maybe just another year out of Kimmy might actually do us the world of good.
Yeah, I was saying to James before the show, I think, we thought Kim might hang up her boots, but she's still probably one of the best people to have around the squad, isn't she, Paul? To gain experience for the youngsters or even younger players that are going to be coming into the football club.
Oh yeah, definitely. My only worry with her is if she's going to be a fully fit Kimmy Little for enough games next season. Excuse me. I was at a talk just before Christmas that was given by Martin Keown, and he was explaining why he hung up his boots when he did. And although he felt he had one, maybe two more years in him, he didn't want to be the guy that let the team down if he wasn't fully fit, or he gave away a silly penalty, or he gave away a goal that cost the team a Champions League final type of thing. And as much as I love Kim Little, I think she's fantastic. She'd be great around the young players coming through. I just worry that is she can push herself that little bit too far and make some sort of silly mistake, and then what she's going to be remembered for by fans that have only sort of been following the game for sort of 1 or 2 years, and not that obviously those of us that have been following it for years will remember all the brilliant things she's done as well. But I just fear that the last, if she makes that sort of silly mistake, is that what she's going to be remembered for, and it sort of overshadow all the brilliantness from her.
No, I actually do get that point. I think Mel, are you here or are you dog chasing?
No, I've returned.
Right, okay. Return of the Mel instead of return back. Right. Do you think what would be best for Kim is obviously playing how she is this season, but then probably from next summer pre-season that she's more a bit part player and more as say being there for the youngsters, like a mentor, would you say? Or do you think she's still got it to really push it for another season?
Yeah, no, I think I can see her coming more of sort of like a see out the game sort of player. I think even in her interview she said that she understands that her roles change, but that doesn't change how she changes. Like, she's not changed her approach. She's always going to be the Kim that we know and love, that gives 110% in every situation. But that's just one of the things that comes with being an older player, is you have to know when it's your time to not fully step away, but just take a step back and sort of do more behind the scenes to help the younger ones out. There's not a lot of players that could say that they've had 350 appearances for one club. And to sort of have done what she's done with captaining her country to their first Euros and their first Women's World Cup, their country's first World Cup since 1998, and just the things that she's done both on and off the pitch for football. I think, like Paul said, I personally don't think it'll be a silly mistake that she'll get remembered by, and if that people want to remember her by a silly mistake, then that's people that don't know how great of a person Kim Little is. Not even just a good footballer, she's an unreal person. So yeah, I think she's very much switched on to the fact that she is going to have to take a back seat a wee bit, but she seems switched on enough to know that taking the back seat is what's best for herself and the club at the minute, because we've seen over the last few years she's picked up a good few knocks that have kept her out for a period of time, and the last thing you want at a player at her age is to pick up a career-ending injury when you've had such a long career and such a good career to go out on such a low point.
Yeah, Mel, do you see her going similar to what Jen done?
I couldn't see her going out to America to sort of see out her career. I think if she's going to see out her career, she's probably going to come home. But then again, I could see her sort of finishing where she is. I think she deserves to finish Arsenal. She's always going to be an Arsenal legend.
Yeah.
But she has been doing a lot of her coaching badges. I think she's got her UEFA B licence, possibly going towards her A licence. So could be one of those things that she drops off the face of the earth when she retires, but that's because she's coaching and mentoring younger teams, which, God, even at my age, I would love to have somebody like Kim Little being my mentor. There's not a lot of years between us, but I think she's just such a wealth of knowledge that any team, be it men's, women's, girls, boys, whoever gets her as a coach, have landed on their feet.
Yeah. Director.
The next Scotland manager. Calling it.
Well, we still don't have one, so...
Director of football and Scotland manager. You heard it here. James, what's your views on the Kim Little extension? Do you echo what everyone else has said? And I think, obviously, we've still got Kyra, who's probably... How old's Kyra? 20... She's not old, is she, Kyra? I don't think. So she'd still be learning from as much as she can from Kim and Leah Volti, won't she?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, as everybody else has said, I mean, I think if Kimmy Little was a sort of player like that, if she was just coming in the door, I hadn't really been seen or heard of, we would all be going, what the hell's wrong with Arsenal? But obviously, the player that Kimmy is, she's wealth of experience, not just in the WSL, but all over. throughout her career. She's been absolutely fantastic, and as everybody says, you can't ask for any more than that, especially in a team. Every player's turned around and said it, especially younger ones like Kyra. We've also got the likes the Loneys who'll be coming back after the summer. You can't ask for a better player to look to and go, what do I do here? How do I fit in? Give me little knows Arsenal inside out like the back of her hand. So she'll be a perfect role model. And you know what? Even if we get a half dozen games out of her next season, the extension will be worth every single second of it. Not only for what you can do on the pitch, but what you bring off the pitch as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do we have any comments, Mel? Like,
We have a few. Andrew said when we're 2-0 up in the Champions League final, in the 70th minute would be a shout. I agree. Like I said, I can see her sort of becoming more of a close out the game player. Because who better to bring on in the dying deaths of the game with that much experience and knowledge and the ability to time waste and spin around like a spare prick in the middle of the park like Kimmy Little. And then Dorian said that Kaida's 22. She's 23 tomorrow, he thinks.
yeah, there you go. Just in time for North London derby.
That's true. So I've just fact checked it.
Yeah. So yeah. So we'll get into the North London derby. Looks like Laura is going to be a sellout, which is, if it's not actually a sellout, it'll be near enough a sellout, which is good. What's your views going into the game? Would you change much of the team from the City game?
My views on it is I think we'll absolutely smash them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they get battered everywhere they go. So I think we'll absolutely smash them. But I do think I don't think we should start with Chloe Kelly. I really don't. I think we should bring her on just after half time. Because I know a lot of people will be looking for that player to come on the pitch and give us a goal and a good celebration to rub the salt in the wound a bit more. But yeah, I don't know. Is Beth all right? I know the last few games she had an injury. Like, is there an update on that? Or
I think not sure, to be fair, but I know when I heard someone talking the other day, they were saying that Beth was more likely to be fit for the Tottenham game than the City Cup game. So hopefully that's still the case. And I'm not. Caitlin was the one I was worried about because of how much icing and packing she was putting on her leg.
Yeah, and then if Caitlin's injured for the North London derby, then of course start Chloe Kelly and have Beth Mead on the other wing as well, because we know that works. We know that works for England, so it could work for us. It just depends on how Chloe's fitness is. I'm calling it now. I'm going to do my prediction pretty early, and I'm going to go Alessia Russo for it, because I think that's where she needs to start up front. Nowhere else. Not on the wing. Not off pulling into the midfield. Nowhere else should we see Alessia Russo. It does not work. And I think it'll be back to a Steph Catley and Leah defence.
Yeah, I don't want to be seeing Steph Catley at left back ever again.
No, I agree. I know. Like over the last few weeks, people are saying there's no talent left for Steph at left back, and they're right. They were right. They were right. When I know a lot of people were like, but how does that work when she's a natural left back for the Matildas? I don't know how the Matildas are going to figure that one out, but she's certainly not a left back at Arsenal any longer.
I think that they play quite different football to how we play as well. So I think that's a concept that people need to realise. And Luckily, it's not my job to work that one out, so I don't really care.
Lucky for us all.
So yeah, Mel going into the game. Like it's been said, obviously we want to see Russo through the middle. Do you think the rest of the team kind of rights itself?
Yeah, I think there's not really anybody who's played poorly enough in recent games to sort of take themselves out of the starter lineup. I think when we've played with the consistent lineup that we've played with in the last couple of games, especially the last two City games, it's worked. The only person I wouldn't see in the starter lineup would be Stina. But yeah, I think it's going to be back to bog standard. I think if Beth was fit, she'd probably start. However, Dorian said in the comments here, there's not been an update in the press conference today, and she also wasn't in the training video. So I don't even know if Caitlin Ford's back fit. I've not really seen anything about that. So that could be the only main change you see is who plays out on the right. Don't know if that would then see us sort of chucking Chloe Kelly in at the deep end. But aside from if they're fit or if they're not on whoever's going to play on the right wing, I think the rest of the lineup's pretty easy money as to who you think is going to be playing where.
Yeah. Like you say, our options might be quite limited. So I suppose you can't start a fire without a spark. That's what I'm saying for Chloe Kelly. Paul, so we're probably thinking we're going Russo through the middle, aren't we? Probably with Mariona and potentially Chloe Kelly. Do you see that being the case, or do you see Stina? I can't believe I'm asking this. Do you see Stina starting?
No, I mean if we've got the other players fit and ready to go, then I can't see Stina starting. Obviously, that as we've just said, there's the Beth and Caitlin question mark over their fitness. But even if they're not fit, like I say, we've got Mariona, we've got Chloe Kelly, and with Russo in the middle. The front three are there. The only thing it lacks is anybody on the bench to come on and make an impact if they need to, other than Stina up front. So you could potentially, once we're sort of 4 or 5-0 up, after 10 minutes, could potentially see Stina come on at some point for any of those front three, really.
Yeah. James, talking about people on the subs bench, do you see the return of the best midfielder that ever existed on the bench in Vicky P?
I mean, if she's fit enough, then why not? The bench, I mean, personally, I can't see the team changing that much in comparison with what I've seen throughout. I think she'll go, hopefully.
James has been cut off. I don't know where he's disappeared to.
That Rangers Wi-Fi.
Well, clearly not, because I'm in the same Wi-Fi.
He literally appeared for less than half a second and he's disappeared again. So I
don't know where he's went.
Right. No, right. Laura's locked him in the attic. That's right.
I'm not that bad.
Yeah, I'll go to you, Laura. Just don't cut out because this could be awkward now. Yeah, about Palova, she said, didn't she, for a long time that she wanted to try and make it back for the Tottenham game. Obviously, I think we all know she probably won't play that much, but just being around the squad, and she scored a banger of a goal, didn't she, in the under-21?
Yeah, I think the aim is to try and just at least get Vicky on the park for the reception of being back, just to hear the roar of the Emirates, just to have that kind of player back. I'm manifesting that she's on the bench because I packed my Vicky pullover t-shirt, so
Yeah, sure.
I'm hoping she's on that bench that I can get that top back on. But yeah, obviously I'm hoping, and I think it would be good for her.
Yeah. I will go back to you again, Laura, because obviously you was quite outspoken about a certain defender that plays for Arsenal. that is the plays for England as well, and Leah Williamson. What do you think she needs to do to like kind of get back to how she was before? Because I think recently she's not been the Leah Williamson. Do you think it's a thing that she knows she's probably not going to be dropped, or do you think there's something more to it?
Yeah, I think she knows. Again, I think she knows our spot is safe. I don't know. I know they say obviously like it's the same with Beth. It was the same with Viv. That after the ACL injury, she's just not came back up to herself. And I mean, if you look at, as I say, if you look at most of my tops, I have Williamson on the back of them, and I do think very highly of her when she's on her game.
Yeah.
But just recently, she seems very nervy in big games. She just, I don't know. There's just something missing there from her. I mean, we know that Leah can be one of the best defenders in the world if she just does what she has to do, but it seems like she overcomplicates things. And I know I'm one of the biggest moaners when I say, what are we doing with this ball? Back and forth, and it stems from Leah. It stems from Leah constantly wanting the ball at her feet, and then she's always looking for that long ball. We know that long ball, what she can do with it when she reaches a proper target. But it's like she's constantly looking for it, and teams have picked up on it, and then it's like, oh well, I've missed that opportunity for that long ball. It's gone. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just being overcritic with her, but something needs to change within her to then keep that spot at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously we've seen Beth coming back from her ACL quite on fire, and when her and Viv are talking about the ACLs, they're two different scales. So Beth's gone in with this gusto, not really caring about the potential to harm herself again, and then Viv's more on the anxious side, the cautious side. She's very prone to injuries. So is that like a self-conscious thing that maybe Williamson could be having, that we've seen her not go into tackles as much now, where she'll be more strategic when she's taking the ball from a striker? But could this be a thing where maybe she's also just trying to be more cautious and not play them balls anymore? But
Leah, sorry, Chantel, but Leah's never been one to go in for a tackle. She has said that herself. If I had to go in for a tackle, then I've been in the wrong position in the first place to go in for that tackle. Leah, as far as we watched her, has never went in for tackles. So I don't know like how that would match in with how she you're probably right. She's still got that sense of fright of the ACL, don't want to make a certain move. Because anybody seen it? ACL, a slight little move and your knee's gone.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it in men recently. Like they've just made a slight dodge to the side and their knees just went boom, gone. So I don't know. I can't touch on it. I really don't know.
It's hard, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah, it's you just want just like that wee guy in the meme. If anybody's seen it, he's a wee Scottish guy. You just want Leah back, like skeet her back.
Is that the one with the boys crying? He's like, feel like pure shite. Back.
do feel like pure shite. Just want her back. Like back to the old Leah who wasn't. Who didn't have to come out of position to then feel like she would defending. You would just watch Leah go into a certain position, but it just seems like players are so easily to get past her. It's mind-boggling.
just to say that James's voice hasn't really changed that much. This is Chantel. That's not James. Like that would be something groundbreaking for the show, but no. Paul, Paul, I'll come to you. Obviously, I know a lot of people are saying Steph Catley goes back into centre half, and I did see in the group that you wanted to be controversial, so I'm hoping that's still the case. I don't think it's an absolute no-brainer that the Steph Catley goes back to centre half, because I don't think Lotta's actually done that bad, has she?
No, it's going to be a tough one on Lotta. I do think in recent games our best pairing have been Leah and Steph, but whenever Lotta's had to step in, as she has the last few games, she's played fantastically and just slotted in, got the job done. So you've basically got three players there that are fighting for those two positions, and very controversially now is, do you drop Leah and play Lotta
go
and
on,
Steph?
Paul. Go on, Paul.
Yeah.
This is the part I like.
You know, Leah, when she's at the top of her game, there's no one better. But, you know, she hasn't had fantastic games recently. And maybe it is time just to give Steph and Lotta a chance, whether that's this week in the North London derby or the next game at Meadow Park against West Ham. But
could you imagine the scenes, a sellout, all these fans with their TikTok and everything, and then substitutes bench Leah Williamson. Mate, I would just pay to be there to see that. That'd be just funny.
Yeah, and all the signs asking for their shirts and things, and she sat on the bench.
Yeah, we've corrupted you, Paul. Like we've brought you to the dark side. It's like,
do you know when Paul was talking about that, I was just about to say, maybe is this a chance where we drop Leah and give Lotta and Steph the chance?
Yeah.
Like before that was mentioned, I was just about to say, let's try that. But you got there before me.
Well, if we like Paul being the coronet with like security guards and bodyguards, you need a police escort.
Yeah.
Mel, what's your views on what Paul said? Do you think that is something that could happen, or do you think like what Laura said, Leah's spot is Leah's spot and she just needs to fix up basically?
I think partially the way that Leah's playing at the minute could be down to the fact that she knows her spot's her spot. So, in a controversial opinion, I don't rate her as highly as everybody else does. I think people think she's the best thing since sliced bread, and she's not. I'd argue she's a good centre back, but I'd argue she's not the best centre back in the WSL, and she's certainly not the best centre back in the world. No. So, if part of the way she's playing is the fact that she knows that she's safe in her spot, then humble her, put her on the bench, make her prove that she deserves to be on that pitch. To me, there's nothing worse than a player that's complacent because they know that they don't have to fight to get on the pitch every week. People are probably going to hate me for this, but no, bench her, drop her. I don't care if she gets dropped this weekend. If that's what it takes to give her head a wobble and for her to quite simply, for lack of a better word, get her head out of her arse, then do it. Like, don't get me wrong, I know there is always a mental block when you come back from an injury, especially a knee injury, if the severity that she's came back from. But if you look at how long she's been back now, as a professional player, if you've not been able to get past that mental block by now, then you need to sort that out. I know how hard it is to come back from like the mental block of having an injury, but with a professional player and all the resources and that she has around her, if she can't sit down and say to somebody like, I still have a mental block, how do I go over this? And that's what's affecting her at the end of the day, and that's what's making her not play up to the ability that we all know she can play at, then sort it out, for lack of a better phrase. Like, you need to sit down and sort that out.
But then is that due to our backroom staff? Because quite a lot of our ACL players have come back very, very unsure and very, like, lack of confidence. So is that due to our backroom staff, or is that just a problem within the players?
Well, I think the backroom staff can only do so much. If they don't know that the player's struggling, like, obviously you can see it to a certain degree, but if you ask a player, are you struggling? Are you okay? Can you help? And they're like, no, we're fine. Then what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like they're like, okay, it's their job, but they're not mind readers at the end of the day. If a player's saying to them, "No, I'm fine. I don't need to talk about it. I'm fine," then what else are they supposed to do? I think Beth's a prime example of she's been to hell and back in the last wee while, and okay, and you can see it affects her sometimes, but for the most part, Beth's been firing at about 90-95% since she's came back. Like that first season she came back after doing an ACL was probably the best we've seen out of Beth in a long time. For then more and more to pile on top of her after that, you can see that then takes the effect. But for these other players that have came back, okay, Viv had a setback with her ACL injury. As far as we're aware, Leah's not had a setback. So why is it still affecting her mentally so far down the line?
Yeah.
Like if she can't hold her hands up and say, you know what, I am still struggling, I need help, I need to speak to somebody about this, I need to get this off my chest, then like I said, there's only so much that the staff and the people around her can do if they don't actually know what's going on inside her head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do we have any comments, Mel?
We have a few. Also, for any of the eagle-eyed people that have noticed, I have had a t-shirt change. I am now wearing a vintage Henrik Larsson Celtic top because Celtic women are currently playing Glasgow City to go top of the league, and they're winning 1-0. So get it behind you. Anyway,
We all dream of a team of emojis. A team of emojis.
Dorian said that without Leah, we find it hard to break the press. I agree to a certain degree, but also there's only so many times a long ball over the top's going to work before a backline starts dropping back and cutting it out. Dorian's also said it's not a popular take, but he thinks Leah looks a lot more vulnerable when playing alongside Lotta. He's also said no, drop Lotta. James has said play Katie Reid in the middle with Lotta, or as Laura said, Steph. It may be an unpopular opinion, but Leah is a fan favourite. There's too protected by that. I agree. We haven't conceded many goals since Renee put Steph and Leah together. For me, it's a no-brainer to go with that pairing. We could try Lotta and Steph. Leah and Lotta doesn't work, which I agree. I don't think Leah and Lotta work as well as Leah and Steph does. But also, in my opinion, Steph does a lot of the heavy lifting. So I'm going to get shot on Twitter for everything I said about Leah, but I don't care. If you can't take criticism of your favourite player, then give your head a wobble. I've had people telling me that Kim should retire after her 1-year contract extension and that they're gutted that she's signed an extension and not retired. Good for you. Have an opinion. I don't care. I love her. Anyway.
As I say, like, Leah's one of the first names on the back of my shirt when it comes out. Like, you're still open to give a criticism. We pay our money at the end of the day to sit in that stand, to stand out in the freezing cold, to cheer these players on. So a bit of criticism won't go a long way in their career. They'll hear plenty more from other people. There's just a way that some people can go about the criticism of these players.
Yeah,
it's like Jem Beattie was one of the first names on my top when we still had her. I went to hell and back being a Jem Beattie fan. I even got dogs abuse for breathing. But at the end of the day, if she went on the pitch, she played like shit, I'd be one of the first people to say that she played like shit. You can't call your favourite player shit, then you fancy them, they're not going to shag you, get over it, move on. Darren's also said, interesting from Mel, but I do agree. Thank you. I like being agreed with. It does wonders for my ego. James has also said, there's only so far you can go. Hold on, I can't read. There's only so far you can go. Lotta, you're dropped before Leah takes her shot. Agree with Mel there. I don't think she's as amazing as some people make her out to be. Exactly. People who think she's just the best thing since sliced bread, go and watch another league. Go and watch some other teams. There's plenty of centre-backs in different leagues up and down the UK, across Europe, where their centre-backs would run rings round Leah. And as a defender, yeah, okay, 90% of the time you just have to be in the right position, you don't have to make a tackle. But when it comes to making a tackle and you don't make a tackle, get off. Get out of my face. I don't want to look at you. James has also said, no chance. Kimmy still has 9 years after that to go. It's not 10 more years, Kimmy Little, for nothing. Exactly. 10 more years, even if they wheel it out in the last 5 minutes of some Conti Cup first round pish game in her wheelchair just for a round of applause. I don't care.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Dorian's. If we have to, if Darren agrees with us, we do put the red flags up. Yeah. Especially in being the new or back to being the CEO of the SFC. So, carrying on with the North London Derby, we'll go to you, Chantel. We briefly touched on it earlier. Like, obviously, Russo's going to be probably back through the middle. That's kind of where we want to see her, isn't it? It looked to me that Stina offered more on the wing than, say, Russo did. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I'm more of I mean, Russo doesn't do bad as a wing, but like we've seen when she was going up against Spurs last time, the goal she scored was a cracking goal, and we don't often get goals that are first-time shots. It's more in the box, or like how Stina scores, she's in the right place to get that rebound, or she makes that run on. So I'm hoping like Russo starts, she gets herself a goal, because she's not had, like when we were playing her in that position, she had like 4 games in a row where she scored, and then she's had a bit of a dry spell, and then she's been out of position, and she's a very unselfish player where she doesn't go for that glory of a goal. She'll rather pass it on to someone else to score. So it would be nice as our striker and our main striker for her to start getting her name on the score sheets again.
Yeah. Paul, what's your views with the number 9? Well, it seems like a bit of a question we have at the minute, because there's quite a few people think it should be Stina, some think it should be Russo. Yeah, where's your views with it?
I think Russo's the best number 9 that we've got at the moment. She offers more than just a number 9. She does drop back as well into midfield and help them out when they're needed. If you look at the miles that she puts in over the pitch over the 90 minutes, she's everywhere. She's very rarely is she not in the box when we need her in the box. So she knows when to drop back and help out, when to be up there in the box. And I just think that she's the best sort of all-round player we've got in that position.
Yeah. I'm trying to be as professional as I can about Stina. It's difficult. But Laura, I would say with Stina, the saving grace with Stina is that she does get those opportunities, doesn't she? Whether she puts 1 or 2 out of 10 away, or if she's always or offside or she's not offside, whatever, at least I suppose those chances are being created.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because there's so many times where you see Stina running on and she is onside, but it's just other players around about her that just don't understand that she's made that run. I feel I feel our team sometimes lets Stina down, but then you look at sometimes some of her finishes and you're like, would she even actually finish half of those if the team did pick up that she was onside? Because her finishing is just, it's sometimes dreadful, but then she tugs at the heartstrings when she's coming up against Man City and getting the goals, and it's a weird one. Again, it's a weird one that I can't put my finger on with Stina.
I'd say she's more, I don't know if you guys agree, she's like a cult hero, isn't she? I suppose more than like a legend, I would say. Like so she scored some really, really big goals, but consistently she hasn't scored enough for her to get to that next level. Is that fair to say, Mel?
I'm so sorry. I'll be so honest. I didn't just listen to a word you said because Glasgow City equalised. So I'm not having a good time right now.
That's right. It's lucky that I love you, Mel. It's fine. Basically, what I was saying is I was trying to be positive about Stina. What I was saying is that she's more, to me, I'd say she's more like a cult hero than, say, a legend. She scored some massive goals for the club, but consistently she's not done it to get to that next level to say, like, how, like, be a proper number 9. Would you say that's right or wrong?
Yeah, I think people who turn around and whenever we say, like, Stina's not good enough, like, she's obviously good, but she's not good enough, people be like, oh, but she won us the Conti Cup. Well done. Congrats. Do it in another game. Do it in some different games. Do it in league games. Do it when you're one-on-one with the keeper and somehow manage to put it 16 foot over the bar or so wide that it almost hits the goalpost. Almost hits the corner flag, sorry. Like, it's okay to do it in the big moments, but if you can't do it consistently, then in my eyes, you're not good enough. Everyone's going to have that one player that... Every player's going to have that one goal that there's no reason they should have scored it, and it's going to go down in history as one of their best goals. Jem Beattie's header against Wolfsburg, for example. She wasn't known for scoring goals. Just scored some screamers. But that header against Wolfsburg for her then to body Alexander Popp as she wheeled off to celebrate, she'll always be remembered for that. Congrats to Stina for always being remembered for her last-minute goal against Chelsea. But show up in other games when we need you more.
Yeah.
Like the Chelsea game at the start of the season, she had multiple opportunities where we could have clawed back a draw or even clawed back 3 points out of that game. But she just couldn't hit water if she fell out a boat.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know James in the comments has said again that he would play Stina and Russo up front as a front two. That only works for me, like I've said numerous times, if you play 4-4-2, then I don't think Arsenal are going to change that formation, because then that means who you drop in for that. That means you'd have to be playing probably Beth on the right, maybe Marion on the left, and then Kyra and Volti. So where's you haven't got a proper number 10 playing, have you? Like, for me, like, I know that people say Cardente could do it on the left, but that's not her job.
The only thing that I say that I like about Stina is she's always one to chase a ball down. Russo always seems to sit back and allows the goalkeeper to get the play going for the other team. She doesn't chase the ball down as quick as Stina does. But the problem for me is when Stina chases that ball down and a mistake is made, there's no end result to it. It's just, I missed that one. On to the next.
I think the problem...
So you're just wishing that Russo would take that bit from Stina, the chasing down of the ball a lot quicker.
I think the problem with that as well is that obviously both of the centre forwards, they have their advantages and they have their disadvantages. What works for them. Mel, I'll come back to you if you haven't lost your head with the football yet. So I don't, like James was saying about 4-4-2, but I don't know. Obviously, someone who plays football, it doesn't seem like a lot of teams play 4-4-2 that much. I don't know if it's not attractive enough because of the way we see 4-3-3.
I think we play against a few teams that play in a 4-4-2, but because we play outing our formation here, not that there's anybody watching that's going to play against my club, but we play a 4-3-3 with a one sort of holding defender, and I think having a holding like centre midfielder, like your CDMs, like where Kim usually plays, where Wally usually plays, it allows your fullbacks to push on a little bit more because you've got that security of like basically somebody dropping in to play as a third centre back if needed. I think for modern day football, in the way that modern day football is played by a lot of clubs, 4-4-2 sort of instantly puts you on the back foot against a team that's going to play a 4-3-3 or like a 4-3-1-2 or any sort of way where you're defending and they end up with 90% of their lineup in your half, and you've only got the two centre mids and the goalie that aren't in any sort of attacking threat to you. I think if a lot of teams went back to playing a 4-4-2, it would, Jesus fucking Christ, Glasgow City have just scored again. I think if a lot of teams went back to playing 4-4-2, it would work. But I think they're so, like, Arsenal have so, like, such attacking-minded wing backs that for us to play a 4-4-2, it would get too congested out on the wings. I think having the three up front, if Katie or Foxy goes forward, or whoever's playing at left back goes forward, it then allows sort of Caldenti and it allows Beth Mead or Caitlin Ford, whoever's playing on the right, to tuck in and sort of give you those more options in the box. There's nothing worse than as a winger or as a fullback driving up the wing, putting a cross in, and you've got one or two strikers standing there like, and about 6 defenders around them. It's a difficult job, but I think the days of 4-4-2 have been and gone, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm glad someone kind of backed me up what I was saying. So that's good. I just think like that time has gone. I know teams can do it, but I just think if you want to see in the clubs playing nice, attractive, free-flowing football, I don't think you see that personally with 4-4-2. I look at some of the men teams off the top of my head, Paul. I can't think of any of the top teams that play that across the world. I might be missing someone. Like, I know Arsenal don't, because we don't have two attackers, so they're all injured. So, yeah, would you kind of echo what Mel's saying about the 4-4-2? Is it gone now?
Yeah, I think it's had its day. It's something of the past, and yeah, you've got to move forward. The 4-3-3 seems to be where most of the top teams are going for nowadays. It's only when you sort of get down to the lower leagues that there's still some out there doing the 4-4-2. But yeah, like's been said, when you're a 4-3-3 and you come up against a 4-4-2, it does just give you something else to think about. But you're at an advantage straight away with your attacking players, your attacking wingers, and as long as you've got that strong defensive midfielder that can just slot in if needed, then yeah, it's a no-brainer to stick with it.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to go around and get your predictions and first goal scorer. So I'll start with you, Chantel.
I'm going to go 3-0 and Russo to score first.
Mel?
I'm going to go... I'm going to say 4-1. Katie McCabe to start scrap. And yeah, Russo to score first. And a big badge tap as a goal celebration.
Cool. I like that. Laura?
I've already said who my goal scorer is, which will be Alessia Russo, and I'm actually going to go 5-0.
Love it.
I'm going to go a big one. I told you, we'll batter them. They get battered everywhere they go.
Who like
I although I mean they like to get beat off the lower league teams these days, so we're not complaining. But yeah,
I've heard from Rangers you can't beat Queen's Park this time of year. It's
the cold weather it gets to them, but it's been cold for them all season.
I just think they need to bring back Michael Mould and Jermaine Defoe. So that's what it is. Yeah, exactly. Right, who else? Paul, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go for 4-0, and I think if she starts, Chloe Kelly to get the first goal.
Can't start a fire, mate. I tell you, I'm definitely going to try and get that song because it works. What am I going to go for? You know what? Fuck it. 6-1. 6-1. Russo hat trick. Chloe Kelly, and in the last 5 minutes, a Vicky P 30-yard screamer. That's what I'm going for.
Oh.
We're going to get it all in one.
Yeah.
And
Somebody Darren said 14-0.
yeah. And Katie McKay's going to go up to, she'll set up a goal and go up and pretend to say "fuck off" to the Spurs fans. Yeah, that's what I reckon. Cool.
Will they have any fans there?
Yeah, I think they've got 2 or 3, haven't they?
There'll be about 3 and Leah Williamson's dad.
And brother.
And Big Ange, it's the way they play, mate. He'll be wanting to watch see what Tottenham are really like on both sides. So
He's so used to seeing them get battered that I think we'd probably see a Big Ange appearance.
I reckon, like, give that man a 10-year deal. I think he's doing really well at the club. Yeah. And, have we got any predictions in the chat, Mel? Apart from Darren's.
Darren's 14-0 Russo in the Stina show, and James has said 4-0 if they start Stina. If not, then Kimmy.
Yeah, cool. So before we finish, we'll quickly just go through. Obviously, we got Liverpool in the quarterfinals for the FA Cups on the 9th of March. It's 2:30 kickoff. It's been announced. What was your thoughts on the draw, Mel?
I'll take it. No big complaints. Another game I won't be at because, unfortunately, playing in a big semi-final that day. So hoping for both a quarter-final win and a semi-final win. Yeah. But I think it'll be a good game. I think Liverpool they've challenged us in the games we've played them so far this season, apart from that howler that they had at their corner. They seem quite defensively sound. They've not done too bad compared to they have in recent seasons. So I think we need to go out with the mindset that we're playing a Chelsea, we're playing a Man City, and we can't really sort of go out and think that we're going to walk over them, really.
Yeah. Laura, what did you think about the draw? I was kind of relieved we didn't get Chelsea or City.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that usually by this point we're facing either Chelsea or City, aren't we? Usually it's Chelsea. So by this stage we're biting our nails and we're thinking, here we go again, another FA Cup where we're not really going to make it past this stage. So I'm happy that we get Liverpool, but as Mel said, they're no pushover. They're a good team. They seem really like set up well this season. So hopefully we can get a good win from them and take it to the next stage.
Paul, obviously some of the other ties, it's not like Chelsea to get an easy draw, obviously. Like, never happens normally. So obviously if we did get through against Liverpool, I think we'd kind of be wanting to eye up United or Sunderland, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for Sunderland away.
Yeah, I was, to be fair, mate.
Purely on the fact that it would be a different away day to anywhere we've been recently. But yeah, that would be the one, the ideal one, because you can pretty much say that Man City and Chelsea are going to get through, and Man United. So it's probably going to be the 4 of us in the semi-finals. Yeah, but the thing is, once you get this far through, you've got to beat the best to be the best, haven't you?
Yeah.
So we're going to have to play them sometime, but it would be really nice to just get to Wembley and take that atmosphere that we've been building the last couple of years and actually take it and be behind the goal at Wembley. Obviously the last time we were there, we had the defeat against Chelsea, but I think as a fan base, we've got a whole different attitude now.
Can I just touch on the whole fan base thing? Consider it would be interesting to see how the atmosphere changes, because that was my very first ever Arsenal game. Was it that? And there wasn't really an atmosphere base. Like it was quite mixed. There was no songs. There was nothing. So it would be interesting to see how the atmosphere changes at Wembley if we do make the final.
I was almost kicked out of Wembley that game because Erin Cuthbert dived. Me and Alex were up on our feet shouting, "Dig a hole." some lovely woman sitting a couple rows in front of us decided that we had called Erin Cuthbert a very derogatory term that begins with a W and ends with an E. Didn't call her that. I would, but I didn't. And spent about 15 minutes trying to persuade the stewards that we should be removed from the stadium for supporting our club. We're in the Arsenal end. We were singing our hearts out. We were shouting. We were swearing. We were having a great time. So I would love a Wembley atmosphere. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get heckled by some woman with her 2 6-year-olds who thinks that I should sit down and shut up during a game of football when we're getting pumped 3-0.
Yeah. I think that was the same game that Eve turned around and had a go at someone because they said, why do they let, well, what a waste of a seat, waste of a ticket for blind people sitting in front.
Yeah, there was that, and there was Chelsea fans in the Arsenal end. They threw one of the air hockey pucks at the back of Eve's head. I got in a scrap in the concourse while defending Alex's girlfriend whilst Alex is going to pee and standing outside the stadium, having no idea that I've just been physically restrained from fighting a group of 16-year-olds. It was a really good day. I really enjoyed my day, aside from the 3-0 battering. We went in a box park and we were having a better time than the Chelsea fans who just won the FA Cup. So, say what you want.
Basically, what we wanted to say is that it was actually reenacting a Football Factory, but from the WSL. That's what it was. Yeah. But yeah,
I do believe that I got a group of 10 people banned from Wembley after that, but I didn't get banned because I got back in for the game. Me and Wembley have beef, but it was a good day.
It was eventful. I think that was like one of the first times I met you guys.
Yeah.
Well, so it would be good to see how much it's changed, like atmosphere. I think it would be a lot different, but and if we did get City, it's not like they've got to travel far, is it? Because they all live in Croydon anyway. So just want to get my Manchester tick in. So Chantel, obviously. We've said that Liverpool won't be an easy game, and just to echo, it's on the 9th of March, Darren. If you was watching the show properly, I did say that. Just say. So yeah, what's your views? Obviously, they've got some good players, haven't they? Liverpool, I think it's that Olivia Smith, Sam Kerr. Not that Sam Kerr. Don't worry, we're not going there. It's
the real Sam Kerr.
I was just about to say that they're the real Sam Kerr.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah, so they've got a good team.
Yeah, no, defensively, they do have a strong defence line. I think sometimes they get unlucky in games where they concede goals. But if you look at last season when they played Chelsea, they gave Chelsea a run for their money, and it did not really make a difference. But it was entertaining to watch Chelsea scramble and lose to them. They've done good bringing new players in. They seem to have found a steady groove this season where when they played against Brighton and that lot, they're definitely finding their plays. They've got a striker who is not only scoring goals, but she's young. She's got a point to prove. So, I mean, they shock big teams when they come and defeat them. So I think it's definitely a game to watch and definitely be a part of because it's going to be a good game to watch.
Yeah. And I think they've got Man City this weekend.
I think Liverpool. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's what the fantasy app said when I was doing my fantasy football. That's the only reason I know who's playing who, and that's because if it's not Arsenal, I'm really bad. I don't watch anyone else. I'm not gonna lie. They just don't in my brain if it's not Arsenal. So yeah. So thank you everyone for the show today. Just want to say thank you, Mel.
No problem at all.
What's the score at the minute?
It's still 2-1 to Glasgow City, and Celtic have just missed a free kick. It's just gone wide of the post, so it's all good. We still have the split to come, so hoping to come.
Still shit.
So yeah, thank you, Laura. So I'll see you on Sunday.
Yep, you shall. And I'll be vlogging on Sunday. I'll be starting my vlogging, matchday vloggings. So if anybody wants to be in the vlog, come up and I'll happily put you in it. But yeah, thank you for having us on. and I look forward to Sunday. And I'll be able to stay after the game to be able to have a few drinks if any are still about after the
Mate,
match.
it's definitely drinks afterwards. It's the first time I'm having a drop of alcohol, so
Yeah.
I'm getting to the Coronet at like before it even opens. So I'm waiting at that door.
So
Like,
we bang at the door to let them in.
like
He's
just
got his
banging,
stick and he's like, "Let me in."
banging on the door, like like the other people just be banging on it with their fists. I'm like, I've got my cane ready. Like, no, just let me in. You can't refuse the disabled. See?
Yeah, so instead of having to rush off to get up the road to Glasgow, I'll be hanging about for a wee bit and enjoying the win, hopefully.
And if with the blog, just let me know if you want me to do anything. You'll probably have to find me because I won't know where you are. But
That's fine. No worries.
I'll just listen for like the Scottish accent, but then I can tell the difference with yours and the other ones.
You'll hear the good old Kimmy, Kimmy, Kimmy chant somewhere, so you'll know it's me that started it.
I was talking about that. No, Mel, this is something that involves you. I was at one of the games, one of the away games, the other month, and David said, "Oh, are you Mel's brother?" I was like, "We do the podcast together," and I was like, "I did not know who it was. It was just some random person in a stand."
Completely different accents as well.
Are you Mel's brother?
Adopted family.
Right. Unless I'm badly lost my accent, like something drastic. I was like, okay. I still remember when we were at Man United away, Law, when then people, when Ian said I was standing up and the people behind us he told them to turn to sit down, and they like,
yeah.
they got really offended.
Yeah, you were like 2 rows in front of me, and they were like, "Oh, you should just sit down." And I'm like, "You're not going to get them to sit down. No chance of you going to get George to sit down."
But yeah, Chantal, thank you for coming on, and I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah. Cheers for having me again. I think I had 2 runaway kids that made a slight appearance, so I do apologise. But yeah, no, looking forward to Sunday, looking forward to losing my voice and cheering, and hopefully it will be a better atmosphere than what it has been lately.
Yeah, no worries. We'll the way it's going with people's kids, dogs and all that, we're just going to do different shows, like we'll have a kids and animals show. Fine. Paul, talking about kids, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, all good, and I'll be racing you to the front door of the Coronet then on Sunday.
Yeah.
Can we put a bet on that to see who gets there first?
Well, I'm going to breakfast before I end up the road, so
I'll just trip him over with my cane.
Be a 3-way race between George, Paul, and Belinda. Who can get to the?
You could just imagine it, could you? Do 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 do.
Right, me and Laura will be at the doors with a Arsenal scarf as the finish tape.
A half and half one.
Oh.
That's when I spit on the Tottenham bit, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. And one more question: what do we think of Tottenham?
Chat.
Night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
See you later.
Take care.